What exactly constitutes a pollinator?
Pollinator is an organism that pollinates a flower. So it takes nectar and pollen, and it pollinates to create a seed. A bee, a hummingbird, a bat in some cases, not here, more tropical areas, flies, moths, all of these are examples of pollinators.
A pretty wide range of things can be pollinators.
There's thousands and thousands and thousands of different pollinators. Anything that you eat, I want to say the stat is around 80%, is pollinated by something, generally honeybees or bees. So if you enjoy eating food.
I do like food.
You're correct, so do I. It's pollinated by something, and that's what we eat.
You mentioned the bumblebee. Is that like the #1, like if there was a top 10 list of pollinators, bumblebee at the top of the list?
I would say the bumblebee and your monarch butterfly are your two kind of poster childs.
Now those are two very different organisms.
Correct.
Why do they have that in common?
They are both great at what they do. So they both pollinate two different types of flowers. Butterflies go for a more tubular flower, where a bumblebee is a more of a landing pad or your typical kind of umbrella-shaped flower that they land on.
Let's say a bumblebee wants to pollinate a certain flower. Will that bumblebee go back to that flower over and over, or is it a one-time thing?
Generally, they have pheromones that teach other pollinators where those flowers are. So everyone's got their favorite, but if they find a good source, they will tell the hive.
Pollination happens in the spring primarily, or am I wrong on that?
Whenever you see a flower, it's being pollinated by something.
Whenever, any time of the day or night.
Correct.
There's something pollinating that flower.
You mentioned at night, moths pollinate flowers at night.
Oh,
There's
I
some
didn't know
flowers
that.
that only open at night
Yeah.
to attract moths. A good pollinator garden design has blooms from early spring until late fall. So you choose things that are blooming in succession. So you want things in early spring, mid-spring, early summer, midsummer, late summer, fall, and you could even fudge it a little bit with some early winter or really, really early spring.
What if you're the type of person who enjoys your plants inside? You don't have pollinators inside. What do you do with that?
You can hand pollinate things such as vanilla. The reason that's so expensive is because it's hand pollinated.
Yeah.
So every flower has to get swabbed with a Q-tip and then put onto another flower to hand pollinate it. If you're really obsessed about getting indoor tomatoes, you could try that yourself, though I admit it is a lot of work.
What do you think, Chester, are some good ways to attract pollinators into our gardens? There must be some better ways than others, huh?
Having a layered landscape with large trees, with shrubs, with ground covers, different layers that they could hide in. Water is something that they need. And in times like this, we're in Chicagoland where there's a drought, providing a little bit of extra water in a bird bath, or I've even seen blue Gatorade, which is really high in sugar and similar to a nectar source that could attract some butterflies.
Gatorade is available in several different flavors. What is it about the blue Gatorade that brings them?
It's funny, we had a couple years ago an intern do a study in our Butterflies and Blooms exhibit here, and the winner was
Blue Gatorade.
Arctic Rush Blue Gatorade.
What's nice about it is at the end of the game, you can dump it over the head of the bumblebee like they do in football games.
Absolutely.
It's fun.
Right.
What about if you live in the city? What can people who live in the city do to attract pollinators?
If you don't have a yard,
Yeah.
grow in a container. Grow a pot in a container. You could grow a tree, a shrub, a vegetable, a pollinator garden, just in a container.
A full tree.
Yeah, absolutely.
work.
Absolutely. Look and make sure it's hardy for your area.
That's so interesting, isn't it, Toonie? Toonie! Oh, this is bad. I thought Toonie was there the whole time. Chester, thanks so much for all the information.
Yeah. See ya.